We hear the term protected area all the time, right? And we usually picture this like perfect, untouched wilderness. But what if I told you that whole picture is, well, kind of misleading? Today, we're going to dig into what it really means to protect our planet. And trust me, it is way more complicated than you think.
So, it all kicks off with this number, 15%.
That's it. That's how much of the world's land is, at least on paper, set aside as a protected area. And when you first hear that, it sounds amazing, right? Like a huge win for conservation. It feels like we're really getting serious about saving biodiversity.
But then there's this, the big paradox. If we have a chunk of our planet that's bigger than the United States and China put together under protection, why are we still losing species at such a scary rate? This is the question that's at the very heart of what we're talking about today.
Okay, so to figure out what's going on, we have to start with the basics. We need to look at the official blueprint. What does the world's leading authority say an area needs to have to actually be considered protected?
So this is the definition from the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN. They're kind of the global gold standard for this stuff. And right away, you see these keywords pop out: recognized, dedicated, and especially managed. That tells you immediately this is about so much more than just drawing a line on a map.
Let's break that down. For an area to truly be protected, it's got to have all four of these things. It needs clear boundaries, of course. It needs to be legally recognized. Its main goal has to be conservation. But that last one, managed, that's the one where things often fall apart. Protection isn't a one-time thing. It needs people on the ground actively working to maintain it. All four pillars have to be there, or the whole thing can crumble.
But, okay, here's where we add another layer of complexity. It turns out protection isn't just one thing. Not all protected areas are created equal. It's really more of a spectrum.
Yeah, see, the IUCN doesn't just have one label. They have a whole system of categories, all based on different goals. And when you look at the global breakdown, you can see it's a real mix. Some are like fortresses, built to keep people out, while others are designed for people and nature to live side by side.
And this difference is absolutely massive. I mean, look at this. On one end, you've got a Category 1A, a strict nature reserve. The goal there is total protection, mostly for science, and human access is basically zero. But then, on the other end of the spectrum, you have something like a Category 6, where the whole point is to balance conservation with the lives and needs of local communities who depend on the land. Two totally different philosophies.
And this brings us right to the heart of the problem. This is where we see the huge gap between the blueprint on paper and what's actually happening on the ground. This is where we have to talk about things like paper parks and the very real impact on people.
So what's a paper park? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a protected area that exists, well, only on paper. The lines are drawn on the map, the law has been passed, but in the real world, there's no money, no park rangers, no enforcement, no management. It completely fails that crucial fourth part of the IUCN definition we just talked about. This is a huge reason why that big 15% number we started with can be so misleading.
And this leads us to something even deeper, and frankly, a lot harder to solve: the human cost. Just read this question. It gets to the core of a massive ethical dilemma. What happens when our desire to protect nature comes at the expense of the people who have called that land home for generations?
And look, this isn't just a philosophical debate. We're talking about real-world conflicts, clashes over who gets to fish in a river or farm a piece of land. We're talking about the tragic displacement of indigenous communities from their ancestral homes. It sparks this fierce, painful debate: conservation versus human rights. And it gets so much worse when the local communities are never even invited to be part of the conversation.
So, all of this brings us to what you could call the great conservation dilemma. How in the world do we protect the planet's biodiversity in a way that is also fair and just and sustainable for the people who live here?
If you're going to take away three things from all this, let it be these. First, the word protected is not simple. It's complex, it's layered. Second, real conservation is about so much more than lines on a map. It needs money, it needs people, it needs active management. And finally, and this might be the most important one, true success has to balance the needs of the ecosystem with social justice and human rights.
Which leaves us with this final, really tough question. When it comes down to it, when the needs of nature and the rights of people are in direct conflict, who gets priority? There's no easy answer here. And figuring out how to navigate that dilemma, well, that's the future of conservation. Thanks for digging into this with me.